Hi guys, so we've had hatching day again. The business is really rolling. We are selling a lot of hatching eggs, but we've also been selling day-old chicks and 3-week-old chickens already. Now it's time for me to clean the hatching machine. You guys saw the trays that I took out earlier here. Those are the hatching trays where the eggs lay on the last 3 days during the final hatch time. Those will now be outside of the machine for over 21 days because I have a few days break before I load this machine again, and I will clean it and disinfect it. Anytime you want to be sure that you don't have any chance of catching sicknesses on your chicks, for example, or in your stables from that animal kind, you need to go at least 21 days without any of those animals around, and then they die off. And so these trays are outside of the machine. Those are really the trays that get dirty, that you need to be very sure that you clean it because it's during the hatching. On these trays here, this is where the eggs are for the first 18 days. These stay fairly clean. So what I'm doing now, I'm going to let the machine be empty for a few days while I clean it. And these trays are going to be out of the machine for over 21 days. And the way I clean this is I wipe it down with water, and then I have vinegar and water. We just use that for cleaning it. We use that for cleaning in our house as well. It just works really well for us, and the vinegar has a very much disinfective kind of property to it. And the good thing about it is that it's natural, and to me, you know, if you would touch eggs to vinegar, it would be very bad. So obviously, the bacteria and everything that like to be on eggs and chicks, they must not like to be in vinegar. That is not a scientific statement. That is more how I would conclude personally. But it has been working really well for us. We wipe down this machine and I spray the vinegar water in here. And then I let the machine run, and through the heat and the fan it evaporates. And really, if you open the door and you get a whiff of this vinegar that's blowing in this machine, it's like so strong that you yourself have to catch your breath. So I think it really kills everything and goes into every corner. And I just want to be very thorough with this, and then obviously remove these eggs a little further when you work here. Now you can just see what a kind of gross water and liquid that gathers here from hatching. It's just a really dirty business, the hatching itself, and that's why many people, they actually incubate the eggs and then they put them in a separate hatching machine actually. I'm right now looking into building a hatching machine myself, this kind of type. And if you see how this machine is built, you have this kind of what we call form plywood. Basically you use it to build support. If you pour concrete or something like that, it's easily wiped off. But it's all pretty simple, built out of wood. What you have here on the side is air space, because the fan is in the middle and it blows down and the air goes to the side and goes up on the side, and that's how you guarantee a really even circulation of the whole air and the airflow. And so we were in touch with the company. We're seeing if we would buy another machine there, but we have decided to go ahead and build our own, and we will show that as well, how to do that here on the channel obviously. So pretty happy with these machines, and you could scale this up quite well. What we're going to do is we're actually going to insulate the walls on the bottom, the whole machine, and also here the glass. We're going to put insulated glass in there so that machine just works so much better here for us in our climate. Every once in a while you should open up the fan in the top there, because lots of hair and stuff also goes in there. I think when I use the vinegar water and it really warms up and it evaporates and goes through the whole chamber, that it really disinfects that as well. But just for cleaning and maintenance, every once in a while you should open this up, especially if you use it as much as I do, and check on it. Well, you do the math. Every 4 weeks we hatch with this machine, and you can calculate how many hatchings that is per year. So now we're just going to turn this machine on, let it run, warm up, and disinfect a lot. We're gonna do that another time after having it wiped out all the way. Now this plywood right here is pretty much the plywood I'm gonna use, except for this is made out of birch, which is very expensive. I'm going to use normal spruce or popple or something like that, because it's not gonna be outside and gonna be rotting or anything. Birch wouldn't have been the best for that either, but it's this that you want to look for, because it's easily wiped off and it's somewhat water resistant. So it's this kind of plastic paint or whatever you might call this that's on top, this layer, that will make the big difference in how easily cleaned your new hatching machine will be. So right here in the back you guys can see the day-old chicks, or they are actually now about approaching 48 hours, and you have these ones here that are now very soon gonna go in the next area here. These ones have been here, and you see as soon as they come here I remove the infrared light, because they are now big enough that they can just rest through the entire night. I don't want unnatural lighting. I want the daytime, nighttime routine into these birds, so that they don't overeat, that they rest enough, and this helps prevent crooked toes, crooked feet, and so on. The faster growing your bird is, the more important these kind of measures are. So I have this lamp here still. These guys could handle frost, or let's say 32 degrees Fahrenheit, 0 degrees Celsius. These guys could handle it because they keep warm together. And I have this lamp here so they don't all pile up in the corner. Like over there you see that some are in the corner. And that works fine. That works great. They do okay in these temperatures. The stable is maybe a couple degrees above freezing right now. But they're pretty hardy, and they stay warm that way. But if they would all pile up in the corner, they would probably squeeze a couple to death. Now I've already sold a bunch from this batch here. Now if you look here, the reason why I do not raise them in a box where there's a thermostat and a heating lamp and all of that is because I want them to be hardy. In April, 3-week-old chicks will be kicked out of the stable, out of the brooder house, onto the pasture, into a chicken tractor where we still have frost. They stay warm inside that chicken tractor because they squeeze into the corners like that. And then from a few days after hatching day, we lower the temperature. We raise the heating lamps with every day to make it colder for them. And so I also put, the older they get, the the waterers and feeders further away from the lamps, like you can see here, just so they have to go out in these really cold areas and then back to the lambs. And that's just how it is in nature. They get away from the hen to find their feed, then they go back to warm up, and that is what makes them hardy. It is not as good to raise them in a entirely warm environment. So these guys are here, and you see this group here. I will move those out now any day into this place, and then I have a new heating lamp laying there, and then I will prepare this area for the next hatching machine that will hatch now in a few days. This setup here has been working really well. It's very clean. This has been working great with these doors here, and these chicks are just doing well here. They have super much space here, as you can tell. And if you look close, you can already see on the combs the difference between hen and roosters. We've also had another member join the homestead. We bought an Italian goose. It is supposed to be a ganter, a male goose, and the reason for that is that the breed that we have has a lot of inbreeding issues, and I wanted also a new big male that can stay with my chickens and protect them out on pasture. So let's take a look. He has been here since yesterday. Let's see how he's doing. He's supposed to be a male. I said that I needed a male. And he has been somewhat bullied by the flock. So I'm not sure how that's gonna end up. As you can see, I'm inside the greenhouse here, and some of you are gonna say, this looks horrible in here. And the thing is that we are not taking out these tomato plants. They're gonna stay here. In a couple months there will be so many chickens on the farm that I will have to use this greenhouse again to have chickens in here, and all I will do is take mulch and cover all these tomato plants. Now if you carry all of this out, you carry out all these nutritions, all the minerals, all this organic matter out of the greenhouse, and you will have to be putting it back in here. I will be covering it, and the chickens will be digging in it and composting it all. So that's why this stuff is here. And I don't want to roll up these ropes here where we grow the potatoes. I just hope to bundle them up and hang them over the wires above me here. Maybe you guys know more about geese than I do. I'm not an expert on geese in any way, shape or form. Maybe you guys could tell. I find it a bit tricky to find out if they are male or female. You see, there they come again, and right away chase him away. And it's all of them doing it. I really feel bad for the guy. That goose is just gonna be my guard goose for the chickens and gonna be friends with the chickens more. We'll find out about that. Okay guys, this is just a little update from the homestead. There's gonna be more videos coming this week. Hope you enjoyed it. I will see you very soon. Bye bye. It's still super cold outside. Very cold.